His supporters have been celebrating, but the counting of ballots has been marred by accusations of fraud. When the Electoral Commission stopped the counting process, Hernandez had been trailing the opposition candidate Salvador Nasralla. Then, when it resumed, he was in the lead. What followed were violent street protests, the imposition of a state of emergency and a curfew, and then a refusal by police to confront protesters. Now, after a partial recount, Hernandez has won by almost 2 percentage points. Nasralla refuses to accept the result. The Organization of American States has also questioned its authenticity. Heather Gies is in the Honduran capital. She says Nasralla is going to the United States to try to get some international support for his allegations. The result is invalid.
Well, I think what's clear with the announcement of this result is that it will not resolve the political crisis that Honduras has slipped into in these 3 weeks since the election. Already, just hours after that announcement was made, people are taking to the streets. There are reports of dozens of localized mobilizations here in the capital city, Tegucigalpa, also in the financial capital, San Pedro Sula, and in other parts of the country. So people are not going to take this result quietly. Opposition supporters maintain that Salvador Nasralla won the election and that there has been fraud, and those voices are not going to be easily silenced with the announcement of this result.
And there's news that Salvador Nasralla is going to the United States. What does he want to achieve there?
So this announcement of the result actually came hours after Salvador Nasralla left the country this afternoon. He traveled to Washington, D.C., where he has meetings planned with representatives of the U.S. State Department and the Organization of American States. So his plan there was to present his evidence of alleged fraud and to pressure for some kind of international response to the political crisis unfolding in Honduras. So he's going to go forward with those meetings, even though the announcement of the results has been made. He said in a telephone interview with local media earlier that he might discuss with the Organization of American States the possibility of the application of the Democratic Charter, which, if it was pursued and if it was approved within the Organization of American States, would trigger the suspension of Honduras from the regional bloc as a form of sanction for the kind of break in the democratic order. So he's still going forward with those meetings that he has planned in Washington to try to bring together some kind of international response to the situation.
Were there many neutral observers for the election on the 26th of last month?
So the most important observation missions that have been making comments in the wake of the elections have been the European Union Observation Mission and the Organization of American States mission. So as you mentioned, the Organization of American States has already cast doubt on these results that were just announced. Just minutes before the Supreme Electoral Tribunal made the announcement, the chief of the Organization of American States, Luis Almagro, wrote on his Twitter account that the OAS still has serious doubts about the election results because of a variety of irregularities in the process. And he urged for no irresponsible, he said, announcement to be made on the results until further reports from those observation missions were given. So the OAS has expressed quote unquote serious doubts. Currently, right now, the Organization of American States mission is just finishing up a press conference in which we expect to hear more details of that position. The European Union mission also made comments earlier this evening. It reiterated some of its earlier concerns about irregularities in the process, but said that in a random sample of comparing the opposition alliance's copies of the vote tallies with the vote tallies of the Supreme Electoral Tribunal, there were no major discrepancies. So it hasn't come out to cast doubt on these final results, even though earlier on after the elections, it did cast doubt on the elections results. So we're still waiting to hear what the Organization of American States has to say, explaining more some of its serious doubts in this process.